Hey y'all, let me see. I think everything's okay. Let me play with my lights a little bit. We're making a stork today. Amy asked me during the week to make stork because she has a lot of friends who are having babies. And so I'm like, okay, I did the stork. I'm working on a swan, but I don't have it done yet. A lot of times they're little pixel things. They're just little things that are just slightly out of skew. And so it takes a while. I have to cut them. I cut them in different sizes to make sure they cut right. So anyway, I don't have the swan ready. I've been seeing a bunch of people, everybody talking about the weather. It's very cold in the south right now. And some people had snow. I think Sonia had snow for a few hours. And Irene in southern Louisiana said it was cold. So anyway, we really got a cold front coming. Okay, let me see what I need to do next. Got my glue. Got my crepe paper. Some of it pre-cut. Got the little balls. Let me see. Okay, oh yeah, lots of talking. All right, so let me go. I'm going to just go ahead and switch to the overhead camera. When I find the right button, you know that's a challenge for me. Let's see if this is the right one. Yes, those are some things I've cut out already. I'm not real organized today. I don't know why. Some days I'm a little more scattered than others. This is a scattered day for sure. Okay, I'm moving this close. Going to straighten it. Move it over a little bit. There we go. I think I got it. Okay. So this is the easy version, and that's what I did here, the easy version of the stork. And so we're going to do that one first. And it's very simple. It's almost identical to making the flamingo that we did. Let me grab a flamingo. So this is the simple version, and this is the one with crepe paper, kind of the 3D version. I really like the flamingo, but I really like the stork too. I think he's kind of cute. So we'll make the simple version. I already glued one of the beaks on. I'm going to glue this oval behind the eye. Oh, Sonia, yeah, the fake cake. Yeah, I got better at it. Some of them were not so good, but I did get better, and I've actually watched some videos, so I will make a better fake cake. Okay, let me see if this is the biggest piece. I didn't sort my pieces. I should have done that. Okay, so we got the little eye, and then let's make a wing. Let me show you a little bit about the wing. Apparently storks have, oh yeah, let me match up the sizes. I do need the correct size. Apparently storks have a little bit of a black showing on their wings, so I did that for contrast. I really like the way it looks. And so if you'll notice, the white part is just ever so slightly wider than the black part, and that's on purpose. So let's add some glue to the back of my paper. I actually used watercolor paper, partly because I had it on hand. But when you want something to stand up, I recommend stronger paper. So if you have 110-pound cardstock, that would be good. 65 will work, but you might want to double up some layers. But the watercolor paper that I use comes as 140-pound. And I just really like it. I like the way it cuts. Okay, so we can glue our wing onto the body, and we'll have half of it done. Then we'll do the same thing to the back side. Yes, I really like, and you can do crepe paper feathers here. You could glue them on the easy version. My Barely Art glue tip is a little stuck, so I'll add some more. Run the pen through it. There, now we got good flow. Glue flow, one of my favorites. Lets me put down more glue, because you know that makes me happy. And if you want, you can edge a little bit around this to give it a little more contrast, but I think the black actually gives it just a bit of a contrast. So that's one side. All right, so here's always a problem for me. Flip it over so you know you glue them correctly. And this is the way the beak goes on. Okay, let's line it up. Try to get the points to match. There we go. And another wing. Let me make, again, I want to make sure I get the right wing, because I cut them all out at once. I cut out small, medium, and large all at once. Okay, so again, we want to do this so it's the opposite. It's the mirror image. Oh, I see Barbara Rogers is here. Roseanne, I think Roseanne is almost always here. Sonia, we love to see Sonia too. Irene. Maria. Maria said she's starting to decorate for Valentine's Day. I think Valentine's Day is kind of fun. One of my favorite things are the mailboxes. I've got these. Okay, so here's what I did last, and you only need the eyepiece on one of them. You don't need it on other. But what I did wrong when I made it was I glued them together without putting the little stick inside. Okay, these are the ones I'm using, and this is really pretty thin and flexible. And if you need to cut it, I'm using my gardening shears, my clippers. And a stork is not as tall as a flamingo, so I'm going to trim it a little bit more. Let's see. I like that. And let's just glue it all together. See, I just like stuff like this that's so easy. I use watercolor paper for the white part because it's 140 pound. If you don't have that, you can find 1 10-pound cardstock easily. If you use 65, I would just glue an extra layer or two of the cardstock together so that you're kind of equaling 110. I don't know if it's exactly additive or not, but if you had two 165s, I'm pretty sure that equals a 110. Okay, now we're gonna add our stick in here. I'm adding a big blob of glue, kind of to bury the stick. Okay. There. So there's the stick. Oh, and I thought about, just cutting it out of paper clay. I think that would work. Okay, so now we have to line it up. And because the stick's in there, this little support is in there, it doesn't line up quite as easily, but match up the important parts, the head and the neck and maybe the top. But it's okay if there's a little gap down here. And then we're going to make a little bundle of joy. So I made up a little bundle. And if you want to put if you got like a baby cutout or something, you could get it on Design Space, then you can glue that. And I do want it on both sides. So as usual, my stuff is not perfectly symmetrical. I did the cutouts so that it looked more like they're folds in the fabric, but on the tiny ones, let me see, let me find it, because I cut them out just a second ago. The tiny ones, I didn't do the cutouts because they can be a challenge, and then let me show you. It happened on one of mine. You see, sometimes they just get a little messed up. Okay, so let's go back and glue this to the back side. Yeah, bundle of joy cake toppers. Amy is the one who asked for this. I don't know if she's here. And I usually remember to apply glue to the piece with cutouts so you don't have glue in between, but I forgot. All right, and then if you want, you could glue it to both sides of the stork, but I really think it probably looks better if you just glue it to one side. So just like I did with the flamingo, there are 3 sizes. I just thought it might help you out to go ahead and do the sizes for you. Okay, there. Okay, let's see. I started a minute late. I babbled for a minute, and we're done in 12 minutes. And, you know, that's with me showing you and goofing around and stuff. So anyway, they're really fast. So that is the simple version. Now we're going to do what I think of as the fun version. All right, I've got a little bit of crepe paper already cut. I'm not sure if it's enough. And I have not cut the black. And the only black I could find in my stash, you know, I have an extensive stash of yeah, somebody have a question? Just what? Oh, there's nothing to score. There's nothing, this is kind of nice that there's nothing to score on this. Usually that's the challenge with my 3D things, but there's nothing to score. Now you can cut crepe paper on your Cricut, but I do not think it's worth it. I think it's a pain if you do that. Because it's wrinkled. It has this texture and you have to really adhere it well, and I think you have to use the rotary blade. Using the scoring tool instead of doing the cutouts on the smaller one. I guess you could do that. I see what you're talking about. I had to search for your question to find it. So yeah, I guess you could do that. Certainly wouldn't interfere with the cutting, and it would give you a little more dimension. That's a good idea. Okay, so in terms of sizing these, the first one is 100%, and I can't remember, we'll measure it. I can't remember exactly how big it is, but I reduced each one 80%. So if you want to divide by 5, you could do that. Okay, let's see. And I just use a little bit of black for the black feathers. All right, let's see where we are. Okay, let me find the big one. The big version. Just because at least when you're starting out, it's often easier to do a bigger version. Okay, so we've got 2 of these. Yeah, you have to have a really sticky mat, and then the brayer, and you have to bray and you know, really push down. I think it's very hard. So it's just, I just don't think it's worth it when you saw how easy it is just to do the little snips. Okay, so we got that. Let's get an eyepiece. Let's get our wings. I'm going to do the wings as a separate thing. So let me find, where is that? Here we go. There's one wing. I hope I have another wing. A bigger wing. Let's see if this works. Nope, that's smaller. I may not have another wing for the large version. That looks like a larger one. There we go. And I'm going to try, I haven't done this yet, but I'm going to try to cover them with a little bit of the crepe paper. We can do that now. Let's just see what it looks like. I was just going to put this down and just glue it on. Just kind of see how it does. Not try to make it match this. So let's just glue a little piece down. Oh, is somebody having trouble with the sound? Amy? Oh, Amy's the one who wanted me to do this. Okay. I have a little monitor on my computer where I can see the sound, and it looks like it's pretty good. So, I don't know, maybe it's just Amy. But y'all saw me do the flamingos, so you kind of know what's involved already. Okay, I'm going to glue this on the back. Maybe I'll trim it a little bit so that it follows the curve. So let's see, let's make that one a little smaller. Just have the black, and let's cover the wing. Just do a little bit on the wing. Oh, it's the other Amy. I'm sorry, Amy Butler. The two Amy's. Okay, let's cover the over wing. Yeah, plus I'm not talking that much. Sometimes I jabber more than others. Not a lot of jabbering today. Okay, let's get a little more. Do a couple layers. That's what I like about the crepe paper. And this is really nice crepe paper. It's very thick and pliable. It stretches. This crepe paper is the stuff that comes on rolls, which is very inexpensive, but it's not nearly as stretchy, and it's thinner crepe paper. But I still like it. It was the only black crepe paper I could find in my hoard, my craft hoard. It's really a lot of stuff. So if I get an idea, I don't have to. Sometimes I don't even have to go to the store because I've got stuff set away, set aside for any idea that might come to me. Yeah, let's see. Maybe it won't work, but maybe it'll look really good. My family is very nice to me, and they do not usually try to mute me. Okay, and see again, because it's flexible, you can just trim that. Let's trim that little corner there, that little rounded curve. Fold it over. I'm gonna trim rather than try to fold it. Okay, let's see how it looks. Okay, I think that's gonna look good. I got a little hole here. I'm gonna add just a blob of crepe paper. Okay, now let's glue the two together. Let me put a bunch of glue down here. Again, it's a rougher surface, so requires a little more glue. And you know I like to add a lot of glue. Oh, Jackie says she likes the feathers. Thank you. I just like to mention, you know, both Jackie and I like to design things. We do buildings mostly. And then I'm going to kind of curve it. I want it to because I want it to conform to the styrofoam ball that's going to make the body of the of our stork. Okay, here we go. Okay, so I got that. And let's see. Make the face real quick. Sorry, should have already had this done. But I was tweaking the pattern. I had little pixel problems, and so I had to tweak the pattern. Before, and then I have to upload it to my website, so it took me a while. And yes, I should have the pattern done before the morning of the live. You are correct about that. Beaks. Well, Ginny said doctor day. I hope that doesn't mean you have to go to the doctor. I pretty much avoid it. I did enough doctor days when I was a doctor. I try to avoid it. I mean, I do the basic maintenance. I still think of them as well child checks, because that's what we do for kids, well child checks. So I hope I continue to have well adult checks. Okay, that's done. We're only going to do one wing because it took a while. Let's go ahead and make, let's see. Let me get a better one. This is one of the pixel problems I had. It was one little thing on the file that was messed up, so. .208 comes up with the, oh, then I loaded the wrong file in there. I just grabbed the wrong file. I find that, really? Anyway, I'll fix that. I'm sorry about that. I like for you to have the file if possible before, but I don't know how I did that. I don't even know how I confused myself, much less confuse you guys.
Did you see Jackie's question about where the crepe paper came?
Oh, to get the fancy crepe paper, I ordered that from, I ordered that online. It's like Italian crepe paper. It's so nice. I got great texture to it. But I go to Amazon. It's something like cartolina or something, I think. There we go. We got this. Okay, we got that, got a wing. Now we need the base. And for this, I'm using the styrofoam balls. These are about 1.5 inches, I think. Didn't we measure them last time? Yes, 1.5 inches. Okay, let me see. I know I have a craft knife here. I don't know if I should do this before or after. Okay. So I think what I'm going to do first is make the tail, and I'm going to try to do it slightly different from the way we did the flamingo. I'm going to try to make it so that it adheres a little better. So I'm going to kind of make almost like a tab or a flange, something so that it'll flare out and will adhere to the ball better. And let me just do a small piece. See, I think this will let it stick better. Sonia said she hadn't been to the doctor in 3 years. Yeah, that's a little much. I have done that before. Of course, you know, at that time, when I did that, I actually worked in an ER, so if I had questions, I could ask people. Okay, I'm going to get my thicker glue to make it stick to the ball, I think. Let's see. So this is what they call turbo, which I don't really think is very turbo, but it's thick. You can see it. You can see how thick it comes out. And so I think I can embed the crepe paper and get the tail to stick on easy. See, it already looks pretty good. It's adhering well. And then it's easier to wind it around, especially if this is a small piece. Especially if you don't have glue on your fingers, then trusty paper towel, wet paper towel. I go through a lot of paper towels, right up there with my blue painter's tape. But if you have glue on your fingers and you're trying to get something to stick, it'll stick to your fingers. So wipe it off again. All right, let me kind of clear my space a little bit. All right, let's wind it around. And I don't know which one. We'll use the thicker stuff. Oh, Delvine's on the 5-year plan for going to the doctor. She's probably a youngster. She's probably younger than I am. Okay, winding it around. Okay, here we go. Now I'm getting messy. Which you know I kind of like. Not that I like getting messy, but I feel comfortable getting messy. When we were little, my brother and I were playing in a mud puddle, and my mother saw 2 children playing in a mud puddle, and she said, "I am so glad those are not my kids." And then when we were going home, she's like putting us in the back seat, hosing us off when we get home. She was sure they weren't her kids. We were sliding down this little slope into the mud puddle. That was my little brother, Ben. My older brother was Ben and was playing not softball, Little League baseball. And so we were just on our own, being wild childs. See, doesn't it look good? See, I think this would make I think this is good enough for a swan. Irene made a swan, and she said she had to wind it round and round to make it fat enough. But I think really the thing to do is just get a bigger ball of styrofoam. Yeah. So when I make the swan, I'll let you know. Okay, now I'm gonna just tear it. Get that down. Hey Vanessa. Oops, messed up. See, I got the glue finger problem again. Okay. Do that. Now, one problem with this crepe paper is because it has more body, it it's a little harder to glue down. I think what I'm going to do is cut a piece. I'm going to cut a circle. Just a small circle and glue it here. Probably should have done that before. Okay, let's see. Let's get it to curve a little bit. And I'm going to make a smaller circle. So, you know, you can patch your crepe paper. It doesn't have to be perfect the first time. Okay, let's stick it in here. Oh, this crepe paper comes from, that's what I ordered online from Amazon. It's Italian crepe paper and it's a heavyweight. You can get different weights of crepe paper and it'll be easier if it's not this thick. But this also lasts longer. You know, it's got more body. It'll last longer. Okay, so let's see how it goes. Now I'm going to get my craft knife. Wait, I'm going to turn the camera a little bit. Let's wipe this up so I don't get glue where I don't want it to go. And let's look at the head. How do we want the head to go? So I'm going to cut a vertical slit in here. And let's see if I've cut it deep enough. I don't think so. Nope. Okay, let's slide it in. There. There's little Stork looking good. Now I'm going to add some glue to it. Okay, starting to look like a little stork. And this is the wing. See, that gives it a lot more body. Let me glue that down. I don't want that sticking up. So we're almost done, almost done. So I'm not taking up too much of your time. And where is the piece, my insert? Oh, I need another one. I don't have one for this one. And I'm just doing one leg just because it's so much easier. Okay, let's see. See how this works. And because I'm going through all these layers of, I'm trying to line it up right, I'm going to cut to get through all these layers of crepe paper. I'm going to kind of test it. There we go. It's a little long. I'm going to trim it just a little bit. Let's try again. Yes, I think that looks good. Okay, now I'm going to add glue so that the stick doesn't come out. There we go. And what I do, yeah, I'm just kind of smoothing this down. Okay, now let's see how we're going to make this stick. Thicker glue. Yeah, somebody asked for a blue heron. They're beautiful birds too. I don't think I've ever seen a sandhill crane. I don't know. But we do see some blue herons walking around. I think they're very regal birds. Okay, next, let's add our little bundle. Yeah, see, don't you think that's a fun cake topper? It's different. It's not, requires a little work, but not too much. If you're in a hurry, or use this on a baby gift or something, you could do that one. But I just, when I saw the inspiration for this, I'm like, this got a lot of potential. So, okay, I'm going to switch cameras. Rotate. Okay. There we go. Our little stork topper. So if it's not there now, it will be design number 208. So right after this, I will go and make sure I've got the appropriate file for you. And let's see, anything else? Any questions? So let's see. Well, I don't really see any questions. You can always ask. You can ask in the comments. The tutorial is the flamingo tutorial because it's close enough. But I will eventually write a specific one for this one and for the upcoming swan. Someone asked for some churches, and let me see, what did I do with those little churches? Oh, okay. And they've asked in the past for adobe. Okay, so these were at my aunt's house, and she let me borrow them for inspiration. These are churches in Santa Fe. So that are kind of famous churches in Santa Fe. So I'm going to try to make some, maybe a church pattern with a Santa Fe theme. But also John in our Facebook group sent me a pattern for a Norman church in like old England, a very squared kind of old-timey looking church. So I'll probably do that too. So I'm not exactly sure which we'll do next, but it will be either the swan or some kind of church. But you know, got to do some building sometime. But, you know, oh, and one reason I started doing these cake toppers, is because I'm in an event with Abby Kirsten. And so I made a really cute banner, really cute. This is the miniature version. Wait, let me see. Isn't it cute? This is reduced like to 20%. So, but also I did it so that you can reverse it if you want. So you could do different colors. I didn't do dramatically different colors. So there's happy. And here is birthday. Here is birthday. Oops. It looks like Earth Day. I think the bee fell off. Yes, here's the bee. Yeah. Anyway. There's the bee. So, and like I said, I made them reversible. And I just noticed that, or I did notice when I was making them, Merry Christmas has the same number of letters. So you could have birthday on one side and flip it over, and you could have Merry Christmas on the other if you had, you know, some fairly similar colors. But anyway, that's for the Abby Kirsten event. And I sent out an email today. So if you want to get a free ticket, you can do that. And then for my VIP contribution, I did some other fonts that were really good, and kind of some different, where's pickup? And different kind of panels that you can use for them. So anyway, just look at the email today and see what you think. Okay, Tiffany said she already got the pass. Thank you, thank you. I appreciate y'all's support. Y'all are very, very nice to me. So I really have a lot of fun. And I have a lot of fun with this community. So, because I feel like we built a community. And I just like hearing about you, and even hearing about your weather, you know. I like that, you know. So anyway. Okay, I'll talk to y'all next Monday, 2 p.m. Tell everybody to come if they can. Okay, y'all take care. Bye.